Denny. How are you?
Hi. Well, I'm sitting in a different place. It's been a really interesting week, and probably the best word to describe my week is homeless. My partner had a scare at work, a COVID scare, and I hadn't been home, and I knew that if I went home, then I wouldn't be able to then see my kids for the rest of the week because I would be locked down too. So I opted to stay at my ex's place with the kids. So I felt homeless this week. It's been really unsettling. What about you?
Um, yeah, it's been. I the only thing I can think of to describe my week is solid. It's just been a very solid week. I felt very solid and connected and grounded, and the week's just sort of gone ahead step by step in the way that I kind of thought it would, which is very unusual given the times we're in, because I'm so used to things not going at all to plan. And this week has been pretty much the other way. So it's been both a blessing and a surprise, which has been quite nice.
Well, there's the balance, right? Mine's gone completely not to plan. So I'm on the other
Yeah.
side balancing it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm really interested to see what the next week ahead holds for us all in what you've got to share. But I think I might dive in and
Sure.
share what I'm going to bring into to the week's energies ahead. Um, so we're currently, if we look at the numerology of the week ahead, we're currently in or transitioning through week 39 of 2021. And in numerology, that means this is a 3 week in which this archetype will really weave its way through your experiences. But we're also in the final week of a 10-week cycle where all the week numbers have begun with 3. So we've kind of got this underlying cycle of 3 energy that we've been working with anyway this month, or for these last 10 weeks anyway. And that's always also coming to a close this week as well. But during the next few days, you're likely to notice the energies of this archetype, I think, quite consciously, due to that double dose of 3 energy that we're sitting in at the moment. And 3 is all about communication, fun, creativity, friendship, and laughter. So it's got a really light side to it, but it's also about lies and truth speaking, gossip, deception, and gaslighting. So it's got that other side to it as well. And 3 energy really brings us into the world and into the group consciousness. It's an energy that brings us out of ourselves. And so you're likely to see that energy, I think, playing out in some way around you with the people that you personally associate with. So with your friends and your family, etc. But then also, if we take that out further, we take it out globally, because this energy is about expansion and expansion within the group consciousness. So, we're going to be looking at this energy and how it plays out around us personally, but also around us in a bigger way too. So when we look at the 2 different sides of that archetype, the question really becomes, what will be spreading through the collective during the week ahead? What will we be experiencing? And as communication is a really strong aspect of this energy, then it could be related to information, but it could also be related to misinformation. And it could be related to, say, a positive outlook, or a more positive outlook than we've been working with at the moment about where we're heading. But it could also be about fear, which is what we've actually been sitting in for quite a long time, especially in the collective. And of course, the key to finding your way through that is discernment and leaning into your own intuitive guidance to sort of find your truth around what is rising externally around you. But we also need to look, of course, at the 9 energy of the 30 this week, 39. especially today, Monday, because this energy is quadrupled today. So you're likely to notice the intensity of the 9 influences more consciously during this, the first day of the week ahead. So this comes from us being in a 9-month. And then September the 27th is a 9-day. And then we add the day and the month together, we also get a 9. And it is also the 270th day of the year, which is also a 9. So you can imagine we've got a lot of 9 energy that we're working with today. So there's really no kind of escaping that energy today. We're in it and we're going to have to deal with it. And 9 represents, amongst a lot of other things, but this is what I was really showing would be the themes that we're playing out, particularly today, are themes around completion, leadership, letting go or releasing, but also deep emotions. And because 9 represents all the numbers that come before it, it kind of amplifies everything. So you're bound to notice, I think, that emphasis is added to the situations that you're already experiencing. It's like everything will become bigger or deeper or stronger even in some way. So it's really a week, I think, that is calling you into a deeper state of letting go than maybe you've ever been able to reach before. So it's supporting you to move through deep emotional issues and release anything that is keeping you stuck in the past. And I know that this is something we've been talking to a lot, but today with this energy, I think we can no longer avoid that. And this is really because when we shift into the energies that October brings, we move into that new energy, we'll definitely be in the energy of moving forwards. So this week is really guiding you, I feel, to kind of set a strong intention, to create the space for the new to come in. Think of the week ahead, particularly today, as an opportunity to let go, bring into completion, or release something that you've really been struggling with, maybe really struggled to let go of. And then start the day maybe with a powerful intention to clear that. And allow yourself to be intuitively guided to the best practice to help support yourself through that process. So that was really where I felt the energy was going to be sitting most strongly this week, particularly with the numerology. So it's going to be, particularly today, a very interesting day ahead.
Shall I put my yes, because it well, beautiful. I mean, you've said some of the words that I've even got written down, which I love. This week for me, what's standing out in the skies is Chiron. There's a lot of aspecting happening with Chiron, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So when there's aspects around Chiron, it is this kind of looking back, things coming up from the past, old wounds, old patterns, old fights, old relationships, things that are maybe we like burying and not facing because they're painful. But the beautiful thing about Chiron is that it's in these wounds that there are these beautiful gifts if we allow them to integrate. So it feels to me that something's going to come up this week, which feels maybe like you've been there before, but it's going to be maybe a deeper layer of something. And it's in the integration that you're really going to move forward. I remember last week we had a glimpse at our purpose and the way things can be. And then we've had Mercury go retrograde. So now we're going in a little bit of a, okay, let's now just review what we need to surrender to, let go of, or work through, so that when we do meet our purpose, we meet it in this whole way. We are the balance of our light and shadow. Unfortunately, this world is the world that only really likes the light side of us, everything looking perfect and right. And that just isn't a whole human. And it's in the other parts that aren't so pretty that there is so many gifts. So this week, really concentrating on the ugly bits, the bits that make us feel uncomfortable and we possibly try to hide. There's aspects with the sun being where we're headed to, or also maybe the ego, who we are, our identity. There's aspects with Mars, and Mars is, that kind of moving forward energy, but there's also a combativeness to the energy of Mars. So these are things, aspects with Chiron. So these are areas that may be coming up that we need to look at. And there is also a square between Mercury and Pluto. Pluto is the depth. So you've got this how we communicate, how we put ourselves out there, coming up against the depths of Pluto. It's another aspect that says, okay, it's time to really sort out some shit from the past. So I'll be really interested I'd love to hear if anybody has people resurface in their lives, or stories resurface, or fights, relationships. That's how it feels, certainly for this week. And like you said, Fee, I think that there's a clearing that needs to happen so that we can move forward with our purpose in a really integrated way. So I love how the numerology and the number 9 and that looking back, or that completion energy, is all there. That feels perfect.
Yeah, and I love that reflection on it. And our Chiron woundings, I know you work with those in the astrology, and I work with them in a slightly different way through the Akashic records. But they're so insightful, and they bring so much healing, I think, to our experience, but also understanding of the path that we're on in this lifetime, and how that's influenced. So it feels like that alignment with that coming up at this week, and then also the opportunity or the support that we're receiving through these energies to finally let go of some of these really deep woundings that we've been holding on to. Feels really cathartic. It feels, actually, I'm quite excited about it.
Good. We'll see how you feel at the end of the week.
Yes. Okay, let's have this conversation again next week and see what yeah, but beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
What was your card this week?
Oh, so my card was the star.
Beautiful.
I don't know how to get it in where you can actually see it really clearly. But this for me was just such a beautiful card, because it just seems, I just love the colors anyway. And it just seems to hold a sense of kind of optimistic outlook and hope and energy. It seems to bring in sort of energy, which I feel is what we're moving into, after this week, more than this week itself. But actually that was the whole point, because I'd already gone into the Akasha and got my message for today. And it felt to me when I pulled this card that it was actually perfectly aligned to the message that I was bringing through. It feels almost like it's a shining light ahead to what is to come, and that feels very significant, especially in regards to the message. But I'd be interested to see what your card is as well.
Well, beautifully, mine is the balance for that. My card was the stone from the archetypes deck. I don't have it on me. They're at home, but I asked a girlfriend to pull the card for me because I know she's got that deck. And the stone, instantly when I thought of this, the saying "set in stone" came to mind. It feels like there are plans set in stone right now. It's grounded. It's there. It's very present, and it's solid. we can rely on that. And now what we do to integrate those parts of ourselves that are difficult will really help. Those plans that are set in stone will really help us serve there in a much stronger way.
Beautiful. I love that. Love that. Yeah, love that. And I like that they're kind of a reflection of each other, the cards that we've pulled this week, and how we might transition through both of those. One together or bounce backwards and forwards. Who knows? I mean, feels like a week where that is possible.
It does.
Yeah, so I'll speak to the message that I got from the Akashic record this morning. And, you know, for me, I generally go in for these messages first thing in the morning. I love working that morning energy when it's first light. I actually really enjoy, if I'm not outside watching the sunrise, I really love to be sitting at my desk because I have a big window in front of me and I can watch the skylight and as it comes out. And that always feels like a really nice time to go into the Akashic records for me. And so when I went in this morning, this is the message that I received. And it was that if you are holding on to something or someone that is no longer aligned to who you are becoming, you are being guided to release all connections through your heart. Allow your heart to hold the space of letting go, and you will be guided through the most powerful process to bring you yourself more into alignment. It is time to clear the path for what is to come. And what is to come is so much more than you can imagine. It is more than you have even hoped for, but it needs space. And it is your responsibility to create the space in your heart for more to come. If fear stops you from releasing that which is for your highest good, then focus more on what your heart truly desires, so that you can give yourself permission to let it all go now.
It's a beautiful message and feels completely aligned with everything else that we've spoken to about the energies at the moment.
Yeah.
It certainly resonates. I had, because I've been staying in where I am and I've got my kids around, got into such deep conversations last night, and a lot of it was some wounding that I have that happened quite a few years ago that resurfaced. So it completely resonates with me, all of this energy and all of the 9.
Yeah. And I've had a kind of enforced letting go this week, which I know you may want to talk to as well. But, you know, when my Facebook account was shut, and that's a Facebook account that I've had for a very long time, and it was hacked and it just got closed down and I couldn't do anything with it. And now I'm in the process of, do I, you know, get another one? What should I do? And it's a perfect time actually to sit in this space of letting go of what that was. And it was never a space I felt particularly comfortable in. I didn't use Facebook very much, but I definitely used Messenger. And so I'm kind of hoping the energy of today is going to help me to start to make some new choices around that and what to do, how to reconnect in that space in a new way, which actually, now I think about it with this energy, is probably completely perfectly timed. If I just allow it to go to be.
Well, and I mean, as you know, it's been over the last month that I lost my Facebook account because of a hack, and I was very much present and used Facebook a lot. So I had all of my groups and so many pages in there that I was a part of for a very long time. You know, over 10 years, and so many people, so many contacts. And it was really difficult to really let that go. In fact, it was there in the background. It's now gone completely. It's been shut down, but and I've started a new page, but I've been very slow to uptake the new page, and I've almost gone to Insta as more where I've been, and it suddenly occurred to me that needed to happen. Like whatever was flushed out with that all going, not to hold on to, oh, how am I going to operate now that I don't have all of that? It's like, let it go. What's meant to come back will. And this is a chance of, wow, that's over 10 years of flushing out so much. It actually feels really freeing now. And I've approached Facebook in a different way. So that can't be a bad thing. I'm seeing it only in a positive light now.
Yeah, and I love, I mean, I don't love that you went through that, but I love the fact you went through it before me, because you were able to reflect a lot of that journey to me as you were going through it. So when it actually did happen to me, it was easier to transition through it and to see it in that way. I feel like you kind of trailblazed that for me. And yeah, so that's been an interesting one. And I too would be really keen to hear if anyone has anything to share with this energy this week. I feel like it's going to be a big week for some reason, but I don't feel it's a bad thing at all. I feel like it's going to be a really positive week in a lot of respects, but we need to get through that letting go and releasing part of it. And because we've got this energy of the deep emotional stuff that's arising, again, that doesn't mean that you're going to be in floods of tears all week, but it's going to be a week where you are guided to look at those emotions in some way, or allow them in some way.
And I think in the letting go, we become lighter. And that's certainly what I'm feeling. It's like, okay, we hold on so tightly. And when we do just let go, it's like, oh, wow, why did I hold on so tightly when it feels so much better to release?
Yes, exactly. And I think we can do that so much more easily through our heart. We can really, I mean, we're all being called to work more with our heart chakras at the moment as they go into this expansion. So it would be a beautiful way to explore that for yourself, I think, just to go into that space, to let go and see what emerges from that space, I think.
Yeah, so we move into a new month this week as well, which is very exciting. October. So next week we'll dive a little bit more into the October change, because it does feel like a change.
Oh, it definitely feels like a change, and it'll be interesting to see what we bring through next week. I'm sure the energy is going to be very different.